Hey, it's me, Renee. I'm back. And this here, as you can see, is my anti TBR. I believe, I suppose there might be like an anti TBR tag. I'm just going to mention books that I'm not going to be reading. Yeah, I suppose also, in case you don't know what that is, anti TBR is just talking about books that you have no interest in reading. No interest. Of course, yeah, never say never. Who knows what happens in the future? But right now, these books are so off my radar. They're nowhere near my radar. Like if any of these books are included in a book club or some people I know are doing a bud read with it, I will not be joining. I actually have example from one of these. So yeah. Honestly, I've been wanting to do this video before, but it's kind of hard because a lot of books I kind of want to give a try. There aren't really that many books I don't ever want to read. But then I started thinking, and I thought, you know what? There are some books. I have enough. I have enough video about it. So here I am doing a video about it. Also, as I said, I've been thinking about doing this for years, at least a while. But I just saw Zoe from Zoe's Old Book to do it. Check her out. I love her. So yeah, I'm just going to give her a shout out. And yeah, I do also have some books in common with her. Uh, so I suppose I should start with the first one, which I also just talked about with some friends yesterday in book club. Yes, I'm part of book clubs outside in it as well. I like it like that. So yeah, the first book is A Little Life. But you know what? I'm not gonna have it clear who is the author because you probably know the book, but I'm just gonna have it. Give me a moment. A Little Life by Hanya Yanahigara. I mean, it's been everywhere. It came out a few years ago now. 2018, 19? I knew. It's that huge brick of book where the main character, I think he gets abused in his childhood and then he gets raped lots as an adult. Honestly, I don't know the details, but I know that it's kind of been kind of trauma porn. There's like bad things upon bad things upon bad things. Things never look up for the main character, which honestly, no. That's not a book for me at all. That's not, no. Yes, I understand books need conflict. Books can't always be happy, cheery books. But I feel like you should have balance. You can't have a book where it's just bad things happening. That's not good, at least in my mind. That's just sad and trauma and I just no. That's not some book I'm gonna ever read ever. Even if it's a big hype book, no. I'm one of those people that think you might notice that I might read hype books sometimes, but the way I choose books is mostly like, is this an author? No. Is this a plot I would like to read? Then I'll check it out. Or maybe it might be recommended to me because you like X and Y and Z. But I'm not gonna read a book. I'm not gonna go into a bookstore or a library and just automatically get the newest hyped book that everyone's talking about. I'm not going to do that. If a book is everyone's talking about it and I also think it looks cool, yes. But I'm not going to read it just because it's a popular book. That I'm not that hyped or not that interested in reading hype just because of hype. So yeah. Then also controversially, kind of I suppose kind of in the same vein, well, not in the same vein, but yeah, classics in general, like people are thinking like, oh, you have classics in general on your anti-TBR? What? Yeah. Okay. So in here I'm going to say with the asterisks, I'm never going to read. It's not like I'm never going to read any classics, but I'm not going to read a classic just because it's classic. Like, actually, when I was in high school, I read Jane Eyre. Not for school, but kind of just felt like reading it. And I really liked Jane Eyre. Kind of want to read Villette by Anne Bronte. Wuthering Heights. I'm not sure if I read that one. Maybe. Uh, but yeah, I might read some books by some authors that, well, some books that are full as classics because I like the book. But I'm not gonna read the book just because it's classics. I'm not that interested. Like, yes, classic. It's a book that everyone like kind of is in the pop culture zeitgeist, and everyone has heard about it and whatnot. But like, I'm I'm not really gonna do that. I'm not gonna read it just because it's a classic. I'm not. If I'm curious about it, because if a favorite book of mine or favorite TV show of mine references something, I might Wikipedia it. But I'm not gonna read the book just because it's referenced someplace. I'm not gonna do that. Like, there's a backstory to this one as well. Well, backstory-ish. I did read 1984 in October, September, October, yeah, around there. And that was kind of mainly because it was like a hyped classic, and also because it's been talked about, like Trump uses 1984 references and whatnot. So I thought, yeah, yeah, okay, I can read that one. And I suppose it also helped that I found an audiobook online that was for free. But honestly, after finishing it, I'm like, A, I don't vibe with the dystopians at all, and B, I'm not gonna just read something just because it's hyped anymore. I'm not. I have done it before in the past, and yeah, that does not work for me. I don't. I'm not that like. I no, no, no. I'm not that big of a person that needs to read what everyone else reads. It's I'm gonna read something if I'm genuinely interested in it, and that's that really. So yeah, not like classics in general. Like, there's gonna be exception here and there, but and also I suppose my experience with classics. Okay, so to be precise here, classics from like the 1700s, 1600s. I feel like newer classics like Agatha Christie, I very much enjoy. Sherlock Holmes, I enjoy. But like the older classics, I have a bit more like iffy relationship to. I feel like often the language is just too weird, and it's just too out there, and it's just too different and too old, and yeah, it doesn't work with me at all. So yeah, I'm not six. Like, I might watch movies based on classics, but reading them, nah, not that interested really. Yeah, that's not really gonna happen. I feel like. Then moving on, this might also get me a bit banned from some people, some corners of the booknet. But yeah, yeah. Also a bit of a asterisk. Some people, some books, or some because sometimes I'm gonna mention authors and sometimes I'm gonna mention books in this video. Sometimes there are authors I have tried a book by, but I'm not gonna read more. So it's yeah, it's not like I haven't tried the offer. I'm just gonna kind of know that I don't want to try them again. So yeah, sorry, but yeah. Up next we have dun 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 Steve King, which is like I mean it's everyone's favorite author. Well, everyone's favorite author. I suppose maybe me outside the booknet. I feel like Stephen King is a big author, but I feel like not a lot of people talk about him on BookTube or on Bookstagram. It's more other places, I feel like. Anywho, yeah. So it's different reasons here. Like, one, I did read 1964, 1981, the one about the Kenya assassination, because that has time travel in it, and I'm always like, I always gotta try to read anything time travel related. But yeah, I read that years ago, and I enjoyed it. But then at the end, like it felt for a long time felt like a interesting enough time travel story, and it wasn't amazing, but it was interesting enough. And at the very end, spoilers. It's been a while since the book came out, but yeah, spoilers. Okay, I'm just gonna have my hand up for a while. I'm talking about spoilers. But at the very end, suddenly you had these aliens in there. It's like, what? Where did they come from? Like, they were kind of out of nowhere. It's like, what? I don't mind a book having aliens or something having absurdism, something weird. But it has to be built up You can't have a book for 90 pages be set in Norway, and then at the last 10 pages, suddenly you're in Egypt with no reasoning, or it's just kind of suddenly there. It makes no sense. If you talk about wanting to go there, if you talk about seeing aliens and whatnot, that could be cool. But if there's no build up, it's just weird. It's just weird. So, yeah. So that's the reason why I didn't love that uh, Stephen King book. But also in general, he's kind of known for writing a lot of horror elements. Though he also has some fantasy books, but it's fantasy with horror elements. I'm not into horror, so his books just don't really fascinate me really in general. So honestly, no, no. So yeah, there's that. Stephen King, not for me. Then we have some books I'm gonna find because I found some books earlier today. Yeah, to like have some notes here. So again, this is the author I read this book by, but I'm not gonna read anything more by him. Honestly, I don't think I ever will. I read 100 Years of Solitude by Gabriel Garcia Marquez ages ago when I was a student. And that book was just confusing as hell, and everyone just had long names and the same names, and it was just weird book. And I mean, again, I don't mind weird books, but I suppose certain kinds of weird. I did not like this kind of weird. And yeah, yeah, it's not gonna happen with me again for Gabriel Garcia Marquez. I'm not gonna read more by him. Don't really have that much interest to do that. Then we have, I suppose, yeah, here I have example, but also kind of in general, Russian authors, to be specific, Russian classic authors, so Dostoevsky, Leo Tolstoy. No, no. I mean, I think, again, I'm not an expert, but I believe that most of them end in like everyone dies kind of scenarios. And I don't like tragedies in my stories. I need things to end happily. But also, it seems like all the characters have so many nicknames and names and whatnot, so you just get confused all the time. And I'm like, no, no, I don't have time for that. I'm not gonna do that. No, I'm not gonna. No, no, no. Then yeah, then also we have Moby Dick by Herman Melville. I've heard a lot about it from the tight guys and whatnot. But honestly, a story about a whale and finding a whale and whatnot. Nah, it does not interest me. Maybe I will see a Moby Dick movie, but honestly, I don't think there's ever been one. Maybe there has. Yeah, this is one of those stories that kind of thought about as like unfilmable, I believe. So yeah, I don't really have any interest in Moby Dick at all, really, at all. Then we have Virginia Woolf. Now here, I think maybe I'll read Virginia Woolf, but she's not really an author I want to read quickly, or like an author I'm gonna read in 2025, 2026. But I suppose maybe I'll read sometime, but not not for the foreseeable future. And yeah, the Master and Margarita, which is another Russian one. No. Then we have James Joyce. I have Yeah, I've read a bit. I read excerpts of him when I did study 4 years ago, and yeah, no, no, that is not happening. That's no. I don't really have interest in reading him at all. He's just way too. I mean, there's a term for it. It's conscious mind of conscious of mind. Yeah, it's kind of like when we have long sentences and nothing really happens. It's just a guy just thinks for a lot, and yeah, yeah, no, no. Then we have Sylvia Plath, The Bell Jar. Again, a classic. Not really that interested to read, really. Yeah, not that bothered. And then we have maybe a bit of a shocker as well. And also I did plan of doing this in the past, but then I tried and I didn't really. I feel like it didn't really work. But yeah, that's thing is Shakespeare. Okay, so I have read Hamlet by Shakespeare for English class, and I have seen some Shakespeare. But the only one Shakespeare play I have read, which yeah, we read more or less all of it in class, was Hamlet. And honestly, I had a time I thought I wanted to read more, but like, I mean, Shakespeare, he wrote plays. He wrote plays. They're not meant to be written. They're not meant to be read. They're meant to be seen. I did also once try to listen to, I think, something on audio, which I suppose could work. But still, then I mean, it is plays. I feel like it feels weird to listen to it. I feel like you should have the visual thing of it, and like reading door opens, door closes doesn't really do that much for me. So yeah, I do. A caveat here is that I want to see more Shakespeare plays like in the future. I have seen A Midnight Summer's Night Dream. Uh, yeah, that's it actually. So I want to see more of them. I do want to see that. But yeah, reading them, no, no, I don't really. I feel like that's gonna be. I feel like that's no, 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 not for me. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, yeah. I suppose that's kind of. I've mentioned the ones I really have followed to talk about. So yeah, and that's my anti-TBR video. Oh, I suppose also, yeah, and then another thing I want to mention, which I suppose you might have known if you've been here for a while, but maybe this is your first video by me. Hi, welcome to my corner of internet. But yeah, I don't really like dark academia. So if uh something is described as dark academia, I'm like, nope, not a book for me. I'm not gonna pick that one up. So yeah, dark academia set in Scotland, Norway, dark academia, thriller, fantasy, whatever. No, that is not happening. I mean, because like from my experience, like, I have okay. So to prove like, I have not read any dark academia as of right now, but like what I kind of get the idea of the vibe of like academia is like things taking place in in universities, and then there's I think there's often bullying, and then maybe there's rape scenes, and there's yeah, of course, like it's kind of a name, dark academia, and yeah, that's not for me at all. So yeah, it's today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and yeah, if you agree with me on any of these aspects, talk to me in the comments. If you have your own anti-TBR titles or offers, give me those in the comments. And if you're inspired by me to do this video, tag me. That could be fun. And I'll see you soon. Bye.